like relatively. But
it's very quick. That's why people come to it now.
Yeah.
You can't get the truth from mainstream media.
Well, I was trying to explain to a friend who was talking about doing a podcast deal with a network, and I was like, "Stop!
You can't do
This
that.
is the one thing that you can have where it can be mainstream and it's free of everything, free of any influence. And you're going to let a bunch of pencil pushers and button pressers. They're going to tell you what you can and can't say, which direction you can and can't go. You know, they're going to try to influence you.
But isn't Google doing that? No.
What do you mean?
With conservatives, like shutting down Dennis Prager. It's like a fucking...
What do you mean? Google?
As far as... Well, YouTube is owned by Google.
I'm talking about a company, right? Okay, I'm talking about a company. You going into business with them.
Yeah, you can't.
Where you're a podcaster, you're free and independent.
Right.
And it's probably the only thing in the world where you can be completely free and independent and still reach millions of people. It really is the only thing in the world.
But
what is Google doing?
Well, what I'm saying, Google owns YouTube.
Right.
Right? And people like Dennis Prager, a religious right guy, his show gets shut down on YouTube.
What do you mean it's shut down?
They shut it. He's suing. He's suing fucking Google.
I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
I know he does those shows with Corolla.
With Corolla.
I didn't know he was shut down.
I used to listen to him when I lived in L.A. He's a conservative, religious Jewish guy.
No, I've listened to him 100 times.
Well, they consider it hate speech. I mean, that's when we're getting to dangerous territory.
Wait a minute. I pull up what happened to him because I'm completely ignorant about this. This is the first time I'm hearing about this.
Oh, this is going to go to the Supreme Court.
Really?
I think so.
So they took his page down. They said you can't have a page on YouTube anymore.
Yeah, they shut his show down.
Do you remember what it was about?
Not specifically, but I know it was labeled hate. And if you listen to this guy for 10 minutes, he's the most congenial, fair-minded, but he's a religious guy.
Do you know
and
Douglas
that shit
Murray
doesn't
is?
fly?
Do you know who Douglas Murray is? He's actually
who is it?
He's an intellectual from England who wrote a book about immigrants in Europe called The Strange Death. I think it's called Islam and the Strange Death of Europe. And he's basically talking about how people from these countries that have emigrated into Europe are changing the culture.
Sure.
And they're changing the culture, and
North Africa.
There's all sorts of, crimes and things that are happening that didn't exist before.
Sure. And
people are developing these communities of like-minded people that didn't exist before.
Right. No-go zones.
And he's saying that this is fundamentally dangerous. But he's saying it from a perspective of understanding the actual facts involved and talking about the situation and talking about how these are people that don't respect homosexuals. They want to throw them off roofs, and they have these opinions about people. They have these opinions about people that are extremely antiquated and not aligned with European values in the modern Western world.
Right.
He and Sam Harris had a conversation, and that conversation got flagged on YouTube. It got flagged because someone put it up in their you make a little watch list. What is it called? What is it called? The list you could where you put it on YouTube on your channel, where you could a playlist.
Yeah.
So he puts it on his playlist, and he gets a community guideline strike against him for putting up this conversation between two intellectuals. So I have this conversation with this lady at YouTube, and I said, "Well, why would you do that? Why does that get?" She goes, "Well, it's hate speech." I go, "It's hate speech." I go, "You're talking about two intellectuals having a discussion about a real thing that's happening right now in Europe, and you're saying hate speech." If you listen to the podcast, there's no slurs used, just facts. They're just talking
same
about.
Same with Prager.
But this was the way she said it, because it's hate speech. I'm like, you said that so easily.
Yes,
you've never seen
this. That's a lot of power.
Well, it's also a lot of irresponsible power.
I know.
Irresponsible use of power.
But my point is they're cracking down on people who lean right, whether it's Twitter.
Yes.
Or, you know what I
mean? That's 100% true.
Yeah. And that's a big fucking problem. Hate speech. We're going to let Google decide. What's the name of the company that owns Alphabet? They're going to decide what. I brought that up on Tough Crowd years ago. About when you disagree with a liberal or whatever, you're arguing with, they always go, "Oh, you're a hater." They would keep saying that. And that's what it turned into. If you just disagreed, you're a hater. Now you're a bigot or a racist. If you didn't agree with Obama's policies, you're a bigot or a racist. And that shit works. That's been working for the left for years. But now that the social media, Google controls almost all the information you and I hear every day. I mean, that's why it's so dangerous. So look up, Prague is the first example that comes to mind. That guy, excuse me. Because he's a Christian or whatever.
Well,
but he's not. He's Jewish. But
looking it up, unless what I just read was wrong, they weren't from YouTube at least. They weren't deleted. They were restricted. Meaning
they shut down his show.
That the adult thing, like you have to have an account that says you're 18 or older or something like that. And they were fighting and having a lawsuit against that, saying that what they have in their videos shouldn't be behind that. Like that wall, whatever that is. They also then.
But this is my point. You have to go to YouTube to get the story.
Hold on a second.
Well, no, I'm on their website. I went to a couple different websites to see it, but they were also like yesterday. They had ads blacklisted from Spotify, so they had ads that were, I guess, initially approved, and now they have been disapproved, and they haven't really explained to them
Dennis
why.
Prager's ads.
Yeah.
Well, he's suing.
So, but his page is still up.
You know Corolla, don't you?
Yeah.
I believe.
Ask him about it.
Yeah, I will. But the YouTube page is still up.
His show's not up. His show is shut down.
I'll check that. They might have taken it down by now. This is kind of from a couple months ago.
Yeah, they shut him down.
So if you go to the Dennis Prager YouTube channel, it doesn't exist?
I'm checking right now.
So the idea that they would make that 18 plus because it's conservative, that's hilarious.
Well, no, this is up.
It's up.
This is it, right?
Okay, this is his channel, bro. PragerU. Yeah, that's his
okay,
channel.
but
he's got 1 million subscribers. 1,949,000
they shut his show down.
subscribers.
I don't
So
know.
they brought it back up? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe.
So that
They got
after he
they got a
threatened the
video up.
lawsuit.
They have a video up from an hour ago. Spotify bans Prager from advertising. That's
Okay,
his
then
video.
Google Prager lawsuit.
And that's what it was about. It's about them
you're
being
angry.
restricted.
Yeah, I am angry because we're not getting the full story here.
Well, I mean, we're just finding out that it's up right now.
He's suing him.
Yeah. No, I believe you.
So, my point being is these big tech companies are crushing conservative opinions for the most part, right?
Yes, and here's a good way to look at it. If you're going after a guy like Dennis Prager, who again is the most congenial guy, never swears, very, very mild-mannered, very cool and calm, and whether you agree with him or disagree with him,
Right.
It's not the way to go about something like this. If you disagree with someone, is not to shut them down.
No, it's to have a debate.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and that's not happening.
Well, you saw the Google memo. You saw what happened with that guy when he provided all this information about one of the reasons why women don't get into tech. And they labeled him as being a misogynist and a woman hater. And no, he's giving you scientific studies that show that women have different interests.
Is that Lawrence Summers you're talking about? There's been a few since. Lawrence Summers was actually the president of Harvard, and he was giving a speech, and that's all he said. Mm-hmm. He brought up the numbers as far as males going into science and math. He didn't say women aren't good at it.
Right.
And he got fucking canned from Harvard.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't have anything
that's fascism.
Yeah. If it disagrees with the orthodoxy, they'll come down on you.
Yeah.
Even if it's factual, like James Damore, and you could clearly back it up. You could look at the actual numbers. Not only that James Damore guy put a page and a half in there on strategies for encouraging women to get into tech. I mean, if he was a real misogynist...
He was working for who, Damore?
Google.
Google, yes.
He's the Google memo guy.
Right.
That was what started off because
Yeah.
all these intellectuals came to his side. They go, look, why are we doing all this research if you guys completely ignore it every time it comes up?
Right.
Like you're pretending that this research is not valid. This research is it's scientific information that shows that certain types of people are more interested in different things. We've known that forever. That's why boy toys and girl toys are different because boys and girls like different shit.